Welcome back, folks. It's Getaway Day, Friday, May 24th, 2024. Today, we're going to talk about coal ash, hurricanes, and barbecue again. This is like the good, the bad, and the ugly, only in reverse. My name's Ike Morgan, and we are down in Alabama. For many years, power plants in Alabama disposed of their coal ash by flushing it into great big ponds, often near rivers. The EPA believes there is more than 100 million tons of coal ash in unlined ponds covering 2,000 acres in our state. Now, coal ash can contain arsenic, mercury, and heavy metals that are known to be harmful to humans and wildlife. AL.com's Dennis Pillion reports that the EPA has rejected Alabama's coal ash plan, which included using a cover-in-place method for dealing with the ponds. State regulators and utility companies have argued that removing the coal ash from the unlined ponds would end up costing customers billions. But from the EPA, quote, under federal regulations, coal ash units cannot be closed in a way that allows coal ash to continue to spread contamination in groundwater after closure. In contrast, Alabama's permit program does not require that groundwater contamination be adequately addressed during the closure of these coal ash units. Signs continue to point toward a busy hurricane season. AL.com's Lee Morgan reports that the NOAA Climate Prediction Center's hurricane season predictions have the highest number of storms ever for a May outlook. They're expecting 17 to 25 named storms. Now, that's tropical storm force or stronger. They're expecting 8 to 13 hurricanes and 4 to 7 major hurricanes. That's category 3 or stronger. Now, the low end of all those ranges are higher than even an average hurricane season. La Nina, a particularly warm Atlantic, weaker trade winds, and less wind shear are all reasons for this year's concern. Now, you've heard Lee on this show, so you know that right now she's somewhere telling somebody that all it takes is one well-placed hurricane to make it a busy season for you personally. So, if you're in an area susceptible to hurricanes, right now is a good time to make sure your homeowner's insurance is up to date and that you have an evacuation plan. And don't wait until the day before landfall to get trapped on a highway with a quarter tank of gas, like so many other people will be. Big Bob Gibson's Barbecue is on quite a roll. Now, as you heard here earlier this week, the Decatur restaurant won the pork shoulder category at the World Championship Barbecue Cooking Contest in Memphis this past weekend. And now the American Royal Barbecue Hall of Fame announced that it'll posthumously induct the restaurant's founder, Big Bob Gibson himself, in its class of 2024. Now, Gibson, who first got into the business in 1925, will join a Hall of Fame that already has Chris Lilly of Big Bob Gibson's Barbecue. Lilly is the husband of Gibson's great-granddaughter. Census data shows that Alabama is 10th in the nation in brain drain, reports AL.com's Warren Kulo. Now, some folks think brain drain is what happens when you send your kids to the University of Florida, but technically that's not exactly right. Brain drain is what happens when people get educated and then decide to live somewhere other than their home state. See, if you're working class, it's called getting above your raisin, but if you're a college boy or college girl, it's brain drain. More specifically, a person is counted if he or she is in the top third of the national education distribution in a state other than his or her birth state between the ages of 31 and 40. A recent study from Hire a Helper placed us 10th worst on the list. Mississippi, incidentally, is second worst on the list to South Dakota. Brain drain obviously is considered wasted opportunity to grow the high-level, high-earning end of your workforce. Well, we're about to see whether our brains are drained here at the end of the week. After this really quick break, we're going to have Ben Flanagan back on the show. Now, he runs AL.com's Life and Culture team, and he's going to take our weekly news review quiz. We always have fun with this, so y'all stick around. Hey, welcome back, everybody, and thanks for sticking around. It's Friday, and on Fridays, lately, we've come as close as we've ever come to being a game show. That's because we do a news review quiz that started out in the newsletter, was pretty popular there. So we've brought it over here, and we've had some journalists come on and take the quiz and see how well they've been keeping up with the news in Alabama. Now, it's a challenge because a lot of journalists are focused on certain types of stories through the week, and they haven't read every story that's been published over the last couple of days. So we've had some fun, and part of that fun has been a new toy I got actually for my wife that goes something like so. Everybody loves that one. That really that really lightens the mood. But we're gonna have Ben Flanagan come on. He is the life and culture managing producer for AL.com. And Ben, welcome aboard. And you guys have had enough to cover lately, the beginning of the summer, haven't you?
Yeah, it's been amazing early this summer, Ike. I mean, we always expect to see Alabama in reality television, for instance, and we have a contestant here on this show, there on that show. Occasionally, we'll have a win, but it's been business is a booming, let's say, in Alabama's reality TV world. So it's been fun.
Now we've mentioned the winners here on this show, but just to remind us of the two national, or I say national champions. We're used to that phrase around here.
Yeah, we're Master Chef Junior national champs and Voice national champs. Bryson McGlynn of Auburn, Opelika area. He's the 12-year-old champion of Master Chef Junior. Impressed Gordon Ramsay and all the other judges. Beat out those other kids to be the champion of Master Chef Junior. And Asher Havan of Selma won the Voice, becoming the first ever Alabamian to win first place on that show. So really thrilling. That is also right after we had a high finisher named Tristan Harper on American Idol. So look, this is one of Alabama's greatest reality TV runs era. I know you know this. Alabama has a really rich history with reality TV, which
Yeah.
may or may not surprise people. I mean, there's folks out there who may assume that our state is a factory creating nothing but colorful characters specifically designed for the medium, just all rolling out on this conveyor belt. And in many ways, that's true. And for our team, you mentioned we've had a lot to cover. I mean, it's a blessing and a curse for us because the good news is that it puts a spotlight on our state. It gives us something really fun to cover. The bad news is that it puts a spotlight on our state and that we have to cover something that may or may not be the most favorable representation of Alabama. But I think the trick to this and other things in life, Ike, is having a good sense of humor about it all. Because after all, this is entertainment. And as long as the characters from around here aren't indecent or flat out evil, you put it in the plus column because a lot of people still watch television and they're going to find clips on social media or YouTube if they don't have cable. And one question that people always have for reality TV folks is, where are they from? And if we can answer Alabama, then we've got an audience who's very interested.
Yeah, absolutely. And the South in general has long lent itself to creatives, as we know famously with the authors and the singers. And almost every day I do a will mention a birthday of some historic figure in Alabama. There are a lot of Motown and country music, particularly, are full of Alabamians.
We got a long laundry list of celebrities from here, and a lot of those have been created in the genre of reality TV. We just got done doing a bracket during March Madness of Alabama's greatest of all time reality star. We let readers vote on that, and they ended up voting for Lionel Richie. And people might not say, or people might say, that's not a reality TV star. He was a star before he got on a reality
Right.
TV. But listen, the people have spoken, Ike. But what's really funny, I was talking to Mary Colurso, an AL.com reporter. She does a phenomenal job of covering reality TV for us. And she and I were kind of shocked at how many reality winners that we've had dating back to the early 2000s. I mean, we got up to about 35 people who have won reality TV competitions. We just mentioned Bryson McGlynn and Asher Havan, but you go all the way back to Ruben Studdard and Taylor Hicks on American Idol. You've got Jordan Fisher on Dancing with the Stars. You've got Hannah Brown, who was on The Bachelor. She became The Bachelorette, and then she won Dancing with the Stars in 2019. She did all of that in 2019, creating what is inarguably the greatest reality TV run in Alabama history, maybe ever. So it's amazing. I mean, the list goes on for how many people you will probably remember, or you probably forgot that you remember, who have been on reality television. Alabama just has such an amazing, rich history, and probably a pretty bright future too.
Yeah, yeah. Put a camera in front of us. We'll do something for you.
We'll act out.
We had a big weekend down on the Alabama coast. Also, yeah, y'all covered.
Yeah, Hangout Fest, another one's in the books. And, Alabama's got so many excellent music festivals, and two of them are like really high profile, enough to draw national attention and crowds. One is Rock the South up in Coleman. That's more of a country music thing. And the other is Hangout Music Fest in Gulf Shores. And both of these, and to some extent, June Jam in Huntsville, they're real deal festivals. And Hangout is right there with like world class festivals you hear about every year, like Austin City Limits and Bonnaroo Jazz Fest, or New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Festival. It's always a really exciting time, like whenever they reveal the lineup every year, and we get to see who's headlining. And really, to the Hangout folks' credit, they have consistently booked A-list artists who lead the pack, including this year we had people like Zach Bryan, Chainsmokers, Nelly, Cage the Elephant, and of course Waffle House Employee of the Year, Lana Del Rey. And that's just this year. I mean, the list goes on. Again, I could go through names like Kendrick Lamar, Red Hot Chili Peppers, Post Malone, Cardi B. I mean, that's just in the past few years. So this is a festival that's almost 15 years old now, and they've really delivered year in and year out with amazing headliners.
Yeah, at my age, when I recognize that many people, and I recognize almost everyone you mentioned, that that
I
says
was
they're A-list.
I was very careful with who I picked to share there. I picked all the because yeah, I mean it would start getting obscure to you and me, but very familiar with a certain demographic of, let's just say, younger people. Ike, who would know exactly who they were. But I mean, we had a great time covering this year's festival, thanks to Lawrence Specker and Maggie Cates, Tandra Smith. We'll be there as long as they have it, and the future, I'm sure, is bright for Hangout and Gulf Shores, but it's also somewhat up in the air. And I mentioned Maggie Cates. She was one of our reporters who was there, but she did a lot of great work leading up to it too. And she pointed out that the Hangout and Gulf Shores contract and agreement really only runs through 2025 right now. So they're going to start discussing renewing the agreement, and the public's going to have a chance to weigh in. But the Hangout folks have certainly indicated that they want to keep it going for many years to come. So the attendance is great. The economic impact is fantastic. There was a study just a few years ago that I think that said that there's like a $40 million economic impact that it has every year, which obviously impacts hotels and restaurants and other local businesses. It just creates amazing national exposure for Gulf Shores. So, while there might be some locals who feel a little differently, it's clear that the festival has been beneficial to the city, at least economically.
Going back to the artist names, whether or not we recognize them, I remember the old column by Louis Grizzard where he made reference to Stark Naked and the Car Thieves. I always thought that was a great band name. And there's another Louis Grizzard reference in this quiz that folks may or may not get. It's very subtle, but let's get to the quiz. Let's see how you've been able to pay attention to all the news across the board. There are a couple that you really needed to read into the story for. So it's not super easy, but I think you'll do great. And no one has made a perfect score yet. So there's the
Well,
pressure.
I'm not going to. Let's just get that out of the way. It's not going to be a perfect score. But I want to say first thing here, I'm technically a journalist, right? Like that's what people think I do. But I just wanted to share a direct quote from you from your May 17th, 2024 episode of Down in Alabama, where you told your guest and our colleague, Lita Gore, quote, "I have in mind some people to come on who I'm pretty sure are going to flop on some of the questions." So it just so happens that a few episodes later, I'm a guest. So I'm not going to ask you to explain yourself because I think you already did.
I'm not going to reveal my plans at all.
Well, listen, man, I'm good with, like, movie trivia, maybe some Alabama football. Everything else, my memory is like a goldfish. So this is going to come across as really disrespectful to a lot of our hardworking colleagues who are making a difference in Alabama every day. So, or I can be like your past guest, right? And like you said up front, I'm a very busy guy, so I don't have time to read every story on our site. But that's just the age old excuse at this point.
Well, we'll see how it goes. You're brave for doing it because it does. Yeah, it puts you on the spot, and we're expected to know everything. So, or at least everything current. But that's obviously not really. This is a good one to take.
Okay.
Let's get to it. Um, was the first one. Well, I don't even want to say whether or not these are hard or not because it all depends on Um, on what you've been doing. But the first one, I like your chances. Number one, last week's workers' election on whether to organize resulted in a rejection of what workers' union? A, the Retail, Wholesale, and Department Store Union. B, United Steelworkers. C, the United Auto Workers. Or D, the International Longshoremen's Association.
You got your finger on the buzzer, Ike?
I got it. I'm ready. I'm ready
Okay,
to
I'm going to go
pounce.
C. I'm going to go C, and I think I'm going to get at least one right this week.
Yes, that is a get it right ding right there. Of course, the Mercedes-Benz plant in Vance, Alabama, um, workers there voted to not unionize, so they have to wait at least another year before they make another run at it. Number two, Jefferson County. We're already getting harder. We're already getting harder here. Number two, Jefferson County District Attorney Danny Carr filed an amicus brief to formally ask a judge to grant a new trial for this death row inmate. A, Jamie Ray Mills. B, Toforest Johnson. C, Anthony Ray Hinton. Or D, Bloody Bob Sims.
Oh gosh, I really want to say D. It's B.
It is B, Toforest Johnson. Congratulations. Bloody Bob Sims. Actually, it's is not a reference to our coworker. It was actually an outlaw who lived in Alabama. He was a Confederate veteran and went crazy or something afterwards. Anyway, he was eventually a
I
lynch
regret
mob
laugh.
by his.
I regret laughing now, Ike.
Well, it was still the humorous selection of the four, but maybe not as humorous as had I really been giving Bob a hard time. But yeah, we had
Shout
I
out to
remember
the yeah. Shout out to the innocent Bob Sims.
the very innocent Bob Sims. Everything that he's accused of has an allegedly in front of it. So, number three, during a large music festival, it's almost guaranteed that you'll have some arrests for possession of a controlled substance, public intoxication, and similar crimes. But a man made news when he was arrested during the Hangout Fest after he allegedly did what? A, illegally flew a drone over the event and buzzed a police drone. B, slashed the tires on Zach Bryan's tour bus. C, tossing a mullet onto the stage. Or D, wore black socks with sandals on the beach.
All of these are possible, and the Zach Bryan option, that's tempting, but it's the drone. It's the drone.
Yes.
Ooh, man,
Yes,
we're on a streak.
congratulations. And I know we just talked about Hangout, and folks may think that's a slam dunk for you, but that was an after the fact police blotter report. I think Warren Kulo did it. So you're 3-0 so far. Yeah, slash the tires on Zach Bryan's tour bus is probably the only thing that didn't happen, and I'm not 100% sure it didn't.
Allegedly,
Uh,
keep using that word.
Always allegedly. Yeah, always
Yeah,
allegedly.
we love that word in this
Reportedly,
business.
reportedly, it gets you out of a lot of trouble. All right, number are we on? Yeah, we're on number five already. Oh
I
man,
thought we
you're
were in
going.
four. I got three.
Oh yeah, you're right. You're right. We're on number four. I almost skipped this one. Yeah, this one you either had to just read the story or maybe general Alabama knowledge can help you if you didn't remember it exactly. Number 4, GoBankingRates.com recently projected current housing affordability and projected increase in home value to determine the best cities to buy into. See, it's affordable now. They're expecting it to go up a lot. Which 2 cities stood out for Alabama? Now I'm going to give you a list of 4, and they're going to be city pairs. So, A, Athens and Fairhope. B, Huntsville and Daphne. C, Homewood and Auburn. Or D, Slapout and Smut-Eye.
It ain't Fairhope, I don't think. I'm gonna go Huntsville and Daphne.
Oh, yeah, that's
feeling good, Ike.
You are rocking this one. The that was and that wasn't a real easy one. I mean, we know that Auburn is a huge grower in the state, and Athens is in the Huntsville, general area. North Alabama's been doing great. Fairhope and Homewood probably already not as, I don't want to say not affordable, but a little tougher to buy into right now than some of the others. All right, now number 5. This is for all the marbles here.
Okay.
US, all right. Yeah, you could be the first undefeated champion here. U.S. News and World Report recently ranked Alabama the 44th best state. The math majors in the audience have already figured out that means we were named the 7th worst. They used thousands of data points and rated states in several categories to come up with this abysmal ranking. Now, which of these categories did we rank the highest? A, fiscal stability of state government. B, infrastructure. C, healthcare. Or D, education.
I remember Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. The first guy who won $1 million, where he used his lifeline to tell his dad he was going to be a millionaire. I wish I could do that right now, because my answer is A, financial stability.
You got it. And the key there is fiscal stability of state government, because we didn't do so. We were more Midland with economy, but our state government famously has had a run of good years with some surpluses. So particularly on the short term side, the folks at U.S. News and World Report really liked Alabama's outlook for not having its government go belly up.
You're burying the lead here. I mean, I've got virtual confetti raining all over me right now, because I'm the first ever to go 5 for 5. Am I not on this quiz?
That is yes, that's correct too.
Okay, bring it again. Bring it again, please. Bring it one more time. Thank you. Don't take my moment away from me.
I did. I started talking about the news. It's a bad habit I've fallen into in the past few years. Well, yeah,
hey, man.
That was great. Congratulations. And a couple of them you had to kind of figure out, just, knowing the state. And I like that. I like those kind of answers.
They did, but listen, all the credit goes to my colleagues and the amazing job that they do reporting the news, to Ike for summarizing these things on Down in Alabama. I wouldn't be here without you guys. So the false modesty is how we're going to finish this. Okay? It wasn't all me. It was other people. But if credit has to go to one person, I'll take it if I must.
Well, you get it. You get it, and you deserve it. And we're gonna you can now go brag to the other folks and feel pretty confident that you're not the guy I was thinking of when I said I'd bring in a flop. And if I was wrong. I really missed that one. What this is telling me is next week's is going to be really hard. So I'm going to have to, we'll really get a sucker to take it. Now I can't get anyone on. All right. Well, thanks, Ben. I appreciate it.
I can recommend some people.
Okay.
If you want, I can drop some names for people I think will get them wrong, okay. But that probably won't be the best political move.
Send them our way. Well, I didn't get to touch the buzzer this week. This is killing me. So I got to wait a whole nother week, if we do that again. All right. Well, thanks, Ben. I appreciate it. This was fun. It was informative. We talked about stuff we've been covering, stuff going on in the state, and we got to give you some apparently way too easy questions to answer. Thanks everybody in the audience for sticking around to listen to us. Have a great weekend. We're going to be back here bright and early Monday. Until then, anytime you want to, come by and see what we're doing on the Information Superhighway at AL.com.